Thank you for staying with us on KTN Sunrise Live. A discussion that I'm absolutely looking forward to today. And it's very different from everything we've had before. We talk about politics. We talk about even the row between Kavuludi and Kimayo. We've had them here. But today we're actually going to focus on members of the police service. Now, if you recall now, with the reforms that are taking place, they're no longer called the police force. It is the police service. And today we're taking a look at some very important members of that service and something that they're doing to make their work within the service better, and of course how that benefits you, like we've been saying throughout our show this morning so far. Now, the Kenya Association of Women in Policing was recently formed. They've had their elections, they have their ladies in office, and today we will be speaking with them to talk about this and many others, the challenges that are facing women in the service. So this morning I am very glad to be joined by Cecily Gatiti, who's a superintendent of police. Thank you. And she's also the chairperson of the Kenya Association of Women in Policing. I also have Corporal Nduati. Thank you very much for joining us, who is the secretary of the Kenya Association of Women in Policing. And finally, thank you very much, Florence Kagendo, who's an inspector of police and a regional representative within the Kenya Association Women of Police. And you will notice that we have different ranks here, and we will be talking about that as well, that interaction amongst themselves and their interaction with the public. Thank you all for making the time to be with us today. Let's start with you, Madam Chair, and just talk about the formation of this association. Why and how did it come about?
Okay, the formation of the association started way back in the year 2010. We had a course that was being sponsored by ECTAP. The course was on gender-based violence. We had the deputy president of International Association of Women in Policing, Linda Mabiri. She was conducting the course at Kenya Police College. I was a beneficiary of that course as a trainer on gender-based violence. As we were interacting during the classwork, she talked about an International Association of Women in Policing. We got interested. She gave us some materials, and that particular year, the conference was in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The Commissioner of Police then appointed one of our own, an instructor at Kenya Police College, Senior Superintendent Donada Chari Liga. She went to Minneapolis for an international conference. And when she came back, we were now able to know what other women all over the world as police officers are doing. So following that, the following year, UN Women again sponsored a group of 6, from 3 from Kenya Police Service, 3 from Administration Police Service. They went to Kentucky. And they also came back, they did their presentation, and that is the time now the Constitution has just been passed. We were having rights of police officers joining associations. The National Police Service Act also came in force, supporting the same. So in the year 2011, nothing much happened. But again, UN Women came up strongly and said, look, we have sponsored now 7 people, and we are not seeing anything happening. So that's how now they started asking questions, following up with the then administration. And sometimes last year, around September, they sponsored another consultative forum where we went to Karen, around 34 officers from the National Police Service. And in that forum, there was a lead facilitator, Professor Maria Nzomo. She took us through what other women in the world do, how they network, the importance of associations, historical background of several associations in the world. And from that forum, 4 members were elected as interim to steer ahead the formation of the association. I ended up in that interim, and we have been having the interim until we did our elections. Okay. So the interim, actually, the objectives were, 1, to come up with a concept paper, to lobby for the adoption, and also to come up with a constitution, and eventually to do the registration, which they did.
Okay, so quite a long journey. I think when we see the association, we think, oh, it just started the other day. You did some elections very recently, but it's been quite a long journey, and of course exposing the women in the police service to best practice in other areas, and that's important. And now that we've moved from it being interim office holders to now officially elected corporal, let's talk about now the role of this association in terms of what it hopes to offer its members.
This association, the main objective of the association is to bring to the attention of the Inspector General, of the National Police Service Commission, and of the Cabinet Secretary relevant to this ministry, issues affecting women police officers. And let me just say the women in the police service, because we also have civilian women staff in the service, and also to promote professional development of our female officers. We also look to facilitate the information going down, especially information from the National Police Service that's affecting the women police officers. We are also looking to establish contacts, both professionally and socially, nationally and internationally, for police officers. The constitution of the association mandates us to affiliate ourselves as an association with regional organizations and associations that have similar objectives. We're also looking to contribute to any discussion that is affecting all officers in the service regarding the welfare, the welfare and the working conditions of all officers.
Of all officers,
yes.
And I like that. I like that a lot. Let's talk about the membership. Inspector, open to all. How does a police woman now become a member of the association?
Okay. For one to become a member of this association, you have to register yourself. There is at the moment we have a certain fee that we've set. For one to become a member, you must register. For now, you must register with 500 shillings to be a member. That is, if you are a police officer, a woman police officer. And again, if you are not a police officer, you still have a chance to register as a member. You may either pay or not pay to be a member. So it doesn't concern only the police women. We invite or anybody, even men, to join us, and they're all welcome.
Okay, all right. Let's talk about, and I like the display of rank here, because we have an inspector of police, we have a corporal, we also have a superintendent of police. So it is very clear, from here that, it's all ranks, yes, from the senior most to, the lowest rank that we have in the service. Is that right, Superintendent?
Yeah, it is right, because we have even the regional rep from Rift Valley is a constable.
Okay.
So the will of the people was exercised, because it was a democratic election.
I like that. You sound like a politician for just a minute there, but that's good. Go on.
Yeah, because the process was very fair, transparent. It was actually conducted by IBC.
Okay.
And basically, being the first election, we did our best, because we want to set standards, and we are saying in the National Police Service, democracy is not on trial.
Okay, I like that. I like that a lot. Let's talk about that interaction we have between members of different ranks, and how that happens. Now, obviously, you're seeing constables, corporals, inspector of police, superintendents, such as yourself. Let's talk about that interaction and how that works, because obviously none of you seem scared of the other, or although there's that respect, of course, that we understand in terms of ranking. But let's talk about how that affects the service delivery to the people, and how it affects your working relationship.
Well, if I may comment about the ranking, the ranking is just a command structure, because as we are disciplined service, we follow instructions. But in the association, we are joining as members of the National Police Service as Kenya Association of Women in Policing. We may not necessarily look at ranks, because the things that challenges that we face are common as women.
Okay.
So our entry level is not about ranking. Our entry level is what binds us together as police women who are serving Kenyans. And the fact that we are mingling with our sisters from the administration police, the Kenya police, it makes our work very easy because we are saying this association basically is to form networks, and that one we have been able to do. Like now, if I want something from Mombasa, I have a representative from there, we say from APS. I don't need to go there. So it makes our work very easy. It makes even the other members of the public to see the police as one. Because for a very long time, we have been disjointed. But this is our chance now that we have been joined by the Constitution. We also work to enhance the cohesion of the National Police Service, which I believe we are doing, and we are supporting our bosses very much. They are also very supportive. They give us a lot of encouragement. They are always saying this is the association whereby the welfare of officers will be taken into consideration. And for your information, following the formation of this association, they have also expressed interest in the formation of the National Police Association. I'm sitting in that committee again.
All right, okay. So some good things for everybody within the service as well. I like what Cecily has mentioned, that it is the challenges facing women in the police service that unite all women, either from the AP or from the Kenya Police Service, or, regardless of rank. Florence, let's talk about some of those in terms of the challenges facing women. You are now an inspector of police. Was the rise to that position easy? Was it difficult? What were some of the challenges you faced on a personal level?
As a police lady, not even a police lady, as a woman, we have so many challenges. I'll start with, in even our time of training, you get some training are too hard, but you make sure you are among the men. What they do, you do. Or wherever they go, you go with them, because there is no different in the course. That you will be set aside because you are a lady, you work together with the men, and nature, as you know, women are not the same with men. That is one challenge we face in our trainings, but without God we make it. The other challenge that has made us form this association is about our work. Our work, actually, it is demanding as a mother, as a wife, as a sister to people. People need you.
That's right.
But
the public also needs you at the same time.
We have so many things that are set for you to do. In the house, you are needed. As a mother there, you must work. You must do your job. You must go to work. Balancing those things it becomes a challenge to us, that we request and we would wish everybody, even in the public, to know that a woman is a very special person, should respect that person, and should be taken care of. Wherever you are handling a woman, don't handle that person as if you are handling a man.
That's true.
As you can remember, just the other day, there was one officer in Nakuru who was assaulted, which brought a very bad picture to us, which made us think, what, are we not human beings? And again, an officer in uniform,
Yes.
It is bad. That is another challenge we face. You see people don't respect you much. They look at you as if you're not a human being. You are not like others. I would wish to tell them we are human beings. Women should be respected.
And women police officers should be respected as well. Corporal, in the interaction that you have with members of the public, do you still come across that stigma of men and women, civilians who look and say, a woman in the service? Okay. Have you ever encountered that situation where you're trying to keep the peace and keep the order, and everybody says, lakini si wewe ni mwanamke, sasa, tutasikizana vipi, and yet you are in the service? Are we as civilians guilty as charged when it comes to how we treat and how we perceive women in the service?
Yes, in so many occasions, and in most that I've experienced. When you face the public, when you're on official duty, even in uniform, and you have to make an arrest, especially if you're going to arrest a man. When you are approaching the man, everybody else around him will be, the conception will be, why would you let a woman arrest you?
Yeah.
How much of a coward are you?
That's right.
And when you, in those situations, even we are called names, they will tell you you're bitter, you have no husband, and, so many things. And
I mean, that you're in the service, that means you've got to be a hard woman who has no family, who has no life.
And they have this perception that because we are police officers, we are not supposed to be married or interact with male colleagues socially, or just interact with men and get married for that matter.
That's right.
And they think that we sleep around with our male colleagues, we work with them and go to night patrols, and that's what we do. And there's the air of misconception of who we are as women in the force. We are trained the same as the same as our male colleagues. We go through the same period of time in trainings. We go through the same classes. We hold firearms the same way they do. We have the same training on every level as our male colleagues. It's just that it's been said before that when you deal with a policewoman, please do not look at the chest, look at the forehead.
Right.
Yes.
I like that a lot.
Yes.
I definitely like that a lot. And I think that's something, that we should also have as a parting shot at the end of this. And just talking about, those challenges and, those perceptions. But Cecily, let's talk about, a woman police officer and the sensitivities she brings to a case. And like Florence said, yes, we go through the same training, you go through the same training, but men and women are different. I mean, we're made differently, in how we were created. What would be the difference when we have a police officer who's a woman handling any case whatsoever? Let's not even get into gender-based violence, but what are the benefits that a woman police officer brings to a case that perhaps a man doesn't?
A lot of research has been done on the advantages of having a female police officer handling a certain case. For example, women are very good listeners. Number two, women put themselves in the shoes of a victim very easily. But for example, if it's a child, I think it is because biologically they have that sense of bringing up children, and then they are very humble.
Yeah, we nurture.
We nurture.
That's true.
And it becomes very easy, for example, even for a child to feel comfortable reporting a case to a female officer, including even women, including sometimes men. Because women, first of all, they are good listeners. A lot of research has been done. It shows that women are best in intelligence collection because they can easily disguise themselves, as opposed to men. So there are so many advantages of taking women, for example, especially in our operations. For example, when you go to an operation, maybe to flush out firearms, illegal firearms, in that particular area you are going, you'll find women, you'll find children, and they have special needs. But basically, most of the time, the case has been, it is only men who go there. So even when the men are accused that something happened, there is nobody to fall back to and say, Cecily was there, Florence was there, this is an allegation. So, and there is that touch of a woman. For example, when we had issues in the Matakwei's area, there were so many allegations. But there was no woman even to come and say, oh, look, the officers you are claiming did that. I was there, they did not do it. So it becomes, it's like the police is just being accused, though they did a good job. It was a very good job because the terrain was bad. The person, the criminal was out there to maim and kill and the like. And the officers put their best foot forward. But as we always say, people always look at the bad side of the police. When you are arrested in the middle, maybe you have been carjacked, or maybe somebody breaks into your house, you call me at the middle of the night, Cecily, I help you, you forget. But if you get a nuisance or a police officer who maybe speaks not very well with you, you start saying, oh, police are bad, and we are clustered in the same group. So that is the problem, because the members of public have a feeling that it is we versus them. But in the initiative of community policing, we are saying that we would like the members of the public, first of all, to see us as their friends, because we are daughters sons, wives, husbands of them. There is no village in this country where police officers are born and bred. So the moment they start saying this is against the police, police is part of the society.
Right.
And sometimes I look back and say, maybe the society we need to reassess our social fabric, because some of the crimes that police are actually being told they are doing is not unique. Like yesterday, I was watching the news that a man defied an 8-month-old baby.
Yes.
And you're like, am I in Kenya?
Right.
And you know, it would have been worse, for example, if the same man would have been a police officer. You know, everybody would have started. But we are saying there's something we need to reassess the social fabric and see where we went wrong. Did we have our priorities right, our morals right? Because if you throw the first stone, and then we sit and look and say, okay, like what Florence is saying, an honorable member of parliament assaulting a law, it is a lawmaker enforcing a law enforcer, you know. It becomes very difficult to understand in this dispensation, and we are saying we condemn that act, but because the case is before court, we do not want to continue with it.
Yeah.
But we need to respect. You know, respect is two-way. I respect you, you respect me.
Okay.
And as police officers, we have a mandate. Our mandate is drawn from the Constitution and the National Police Service Act. And when you are executing your duty, everybody else has got their own mandate. So it is your mandate to do what you have been mandated to do. Right. So when I do what I've been mandated to do, even if you have some issues, there are channels, avenues where you can complain. We have the IPOA, we have the National Police Service Commission, we have the Office of the Inspector General, we have the 2 DIGs, we even have an internal affairs unit. So going physical is not very good in this era where human rights is actually not a preserve of anybody.
Yes.
We are enjoying it, all of us.
That's right. And you're human beings at the end of the day. You know, when we see of course, all of these polls that come out, and Transparency International comes out, and you know, they question Kenyans, and Kenyans say in their minds the police service is the most corrupt institution in the country, indeed sometimes in the East African region. Florence, what do you think your association can do to help turn this around?
Okay, our association, as Women Police Association in policing, our target and major vision and reasons for being formed is to change the image of the police service in general, and to change the image that is outside there, how people think and how people take us. In the case of corruption, we want to create awareness where people are free with each other. As police officers and the member of public, we be free with each other. Come to me, tell me when there is a problem, I take it. When a case comes to you, handle it without fear, handle it without expecting any hint, so that you can do your work.
Right.
I would wish to tell all police officers outside there, please do your work without thinking what we will get, because you are there to do that job. Help the public, help us change this image. Actually want to start doing seminars, we want to start trainings, conferences, to teach our women officers how to handle their job, to avoid so many mistakes, to avoid so many accusations, so that at least we can change our name.
Okay, and I like that you mentioned it's professionalizing the service, which Lucy, you had talked about in terms of professional development for the women in the service as well. And that's important, right? To be able to just empower police officers to become better at what they do and therefore have better interaction?
Yes, especially when dealing with cases that are brought to our attention in the stations. You find sometimes, even with the statistics on issues of rape and defilement, sometimes when these cases get to the desk, or members of the public who come to report to the police officers, sometimes in some cases lack of knowledge on how to deal with those cases may cause maybe evidence that will be important in the prosecution of such a case to be put in jeopardy and we're focusing on training on such matters. We're going to train our members on how to deal with such cases and how to counsel such a member of public and how to approach the members of public. We have been called a service now. We are not a force, and that means the way we approach the public is very important.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, indeed. That interaction is different. Sometimes, Cecily, let's talk about it. You know, women in the police service experience insecurity. I think Florence had mentioned some of those challenges, balancing, you know, work and your personal lives, and even the stigma that is associated with being a police officer. We've heard this time and time again, and I will say this without fear of correction, that many people will say, well, the only reason you will ever join the police service is you had nothing better to do. You tried everything else and it all failed, and you thought, okay, fine, so I'll be you know, a police officer. Having been 10 years in the service, 7 and several other years, why stay? What's good about being a police officer? Why have you stayed these 10 years and not left and said, you know what, public doesn't appreciate me, within the service we've got challenges? I think we all understand that. What keeps you going every day and for 10 years now?
Maybe I start from where I come from, because when I used to be in the university, and sometimes you go on a strike, the first enemy was a police officer.
Yes.
The first tear gas would be thrown to students, and then the stones.
That's right.
So, like, when I finished the university, I got a chance. I was employed by United Nations, WFP. By then, there was a very serious hunger in this country. That was the year 2000, 2000 up to 2002, and it was a contract. That time I used to move around within where I am born, Embu County. I used to distribute food. And because it was a contractual job, I felt this was not secure for me. I decided, I'm a trained teacher by profession. I said, now let me go back to the classroom.
Okay.
I went to the classroom for like 1 year, and then I was, no, here there are no challenges. I need a job where I can get real challenges.
And the police service offered you real challenges?
Because in my childhood, I always wanted to become a lawyer.
Okay.
But my father is that guy who says a teacher is always the best person that a lady can become.
Okay.
So in pursuance of that, my father made sure that I did education against my will. Okay. But I don't regret, because after I now joined the police, I decided, let me join the police, because I was arguing that I'm very interactive, very outgoing. I need new faces, new challenges on a daily basis. In a school situation, you find that you get a new face every end of the year or start of the year, then everybody's familiarization. So for me, that one was not my kind of job. So when I joined the police, I joined as a constable. And it was very challenging, because by then you go to the barracks, and you know you have been used to the very good status of a hostel with your own room.
That's right.
Here you are in an open, but that interaction was very important, because from the perspective of the police is that they come there to to enforce a certain discipline. But of course, you must have self-discipline. So in the police service, I've learned how to organize my life. Okay. I've learned how things move from point A to B. In fact, when you join the colleges, you are told that you don't know how to walk. You'll be taught how to walk. And it becomes very interesting, because all your life you have been walking, and it's like, and you realize it is true, because marching, it is very impressive on the TV. But it takes a lot so that you be able to march. So what makes me stay in the police service is that after I joined and then I left, then I was posted to Kagendo, I've been able to use the knowledge that I have as a trainer. Right. I am appreciated. I make programs like now the curriculum where now we are hovering diplomas. I was part and parcel of that committee that was sat in KAI for 2 months. So I'm seeing in the police service, my skills that I have are actually helping in the reform agenda, which is very important. And every moment I wake up, I feel like I want to be in the police service. I want a service that has improved. I want people to stop saying we are very corrupt, because people would think that ideally people used to say police was the last first place to go.
Yeah.
And it is a place for failures.
But you have a degree and you're there. Yes.
I have a master's.
Oh, a master's in what?
I did my master's in project planning and management. I graduated last year from the University of Nairobi. So police is not just a place for failures. If you look at our Inspector General, he has a master's. If you look at the 2 DIGs, and we are very proud of Madam Kaindi because she is our role model. And we are saying now, as where I've reached is a big rank, I need to do the best so that I model other police women and even other officers, because they look up to us. Because the problem has been, we get very good people in the police, we get doctors, we get engineers, but because of, I don't know what happens. Our research has not been done, so I don't know the truth, but they always say they are going for green pastures. But then I sit back and ask, if nobody is willing to stay in this service, who is going to help the transformation?
Right. Who's
and
going to
I
protect
say,
the people?
I'm there to do exactly that. I'm not leaving any soon.
Florence, do you agree? Is it a calling? I mean, it's got to be, for sure.
It is a calling, and you must be interested in your job. You must love your job so that you can be able to serve properly. Like me, actually, I was admiring the uniform, leave alone the person. The uniform, when I see someone in uniform, I feel so nice. I feel good, even before. And that's admiration is what made me pursue this job. And I love my job. Like where I work in personnel office, our salary section, AP, at Nyayo House. We serve people. And I love it so much because it's a job that I like most. Okay. I don't think if I can be better somewhere else than in a police.
Okay, all right. Lucy, when you take a look at all of these women who've come before you in the service and others who've grown, what does it tell you? Do you have role models? Do you have mentors? Do we have that sort of strong ties amongst women that we see, that you can say, okay, for my career advancement, I can look to so-and-so, I can look to the Deputy Inspector General, Grace Kaindi, and say, okay, do you have that, system and that network of sisterliness that pulls other women up?
Yes, there's a lot of that, especially now. There was maybe 10 years ago, there wasn't a lot of interaction between the Administration Police Service and the Kenya Police Service. We've broken that wall now. As you can see, we interact very freely with Madam Cecily and so many others we have in the association and without the association. And as a junior officer and rising through the ranks, having these ladies, having Madam Cecily, having all the other ladies who've been there before us, and the challenges that we face while going through this service and while delivering our duties, it's always good to have someone who's gone through the same things and who will sit you down and tell you, cool your tempers, this is normal, you can handle it this way. And they are very understanding. The lady officers we have, the senior lady officers we have, Madam Kaindi is very accessible to all of us, whether you're senior rank or junior rank. And even the ladies that are now constables and are junior to me, the problems that they have today is different from what I had yesterday. So that's true. It's a learning process. It's good to have those ahead of us to look up to, and it's also good to have those behind us to keep teaching us and reminding us of where we came from and what we should be doing for them.
Very important. Let's talk about this, because while I have you here, I have got to ask this question about the new dress code, that was released, and no lipstick. And I will be fair to say this, that every profession has that. In the work that I do, I also have the certain regulations, what I can and how I can and cannot look like. Lawyers have the same, and they recently enforced theirs. I believe it was earlier this year. And now we've heard of, that within the police service, about having as little makeup as possible, looking as, as simple as possible, not attractive, and dare I say the word, sexy. What are your thoughts on that, Superintendent?
Okay, to me personally, what I believe in is, first of all, how what the kind of services that I'm offering. If the members of public whom I serve are satisfied with my services, that is the best look I can put forward.
Okay.
So the issue of lipstick, no lipstick, we are discipline services. And the third discipline entails that we must measure to certain standards that are set. For example, we are beneficiary of the code of regulation, which is for all, binding to all civil servants. It has a dress code. When you go back to our procedures, we have the 4 standing orders. Now it's being revised to mean service standing orders. We have chapter 37. I don't know where they are going to place it now because it is still under review. It talks about how to look and what to put when you're in police uniform. And basically, just as you have said, every profession has got its code of regulation. So it is not a unique thing to the police service. And it makes us, you know, when you are in the field, like the way I'm dressed, I'm the image of the government. I'm the contact person between the government and me.
Yes,
so if I don't portray a good image of the government, the members of public will start saying, look at this police. Like sometimes you find a police officer rank in uniform.
Right.
What is the perception?
Right.
So that is why we are saying the perception that you portray, I may be just walking on the street, but there is a lot that I'm talking to people.
In your body
in
language.
my body and the way I look.
Right.
And that's why we are saying the look, you know, sometimes you may not avoid. If somebody was born beautiful, they are beautiful. And you need to appreciate some people are very beautiful. But we are also saying ours is not a fashion show.
Okay.
Ours is a service or delivery oriented service. So what we do to deliver our services, irrespective of how we are dressed, if you wake me at the night and maybe I have a night dress, I'm able to arrest the robbers. You remember that I arrested the robbers.
Right.
If I come with the earrings and the like and the robber kills somebody, you never appreciate.
That's right.
So it is just about service delivery.
Florence, do you think we've made a big deal out of this unnecessarily so sometimes, and that perhaps we focused on the wrong thing, the dress code was revised, and that now this becomes a great talking point? Do you think we're just focused on the wrong thing and that perhaps this is not a bigger deal amongst officers?
I think it is not a big deal.
Yeah.
Uniform, to be sincere, you must be neat to start with. These are discipline force. You must adhere with the rules. You must go by the regulations. In every whatever institution, there is a dressing mode.
Okay.
I don't think it is wise, or it doesn't look good when a uniformed officer is in long earrings, you know, in lipstick that is
red lipstick,
exactly.
pink.
You understand?
Okay, yes.
Yeah, it is too bad. It doesn't portray a very good picture. And I think it's good to be neat, to be simple. If you are a good looking, you are good looking. With or without makeup.
There you go. There you go. What of those allegations, and I think we've seen it in the paper today, it's in the Daily Nation, you know, an unnamed police officer saying, well, how will I marry, how will I attract a man if I am not required to put on uniform? And then, of course, Lissy, the question is, so when you're in uniform, you're also looking for, but of course love finds you anywhere, whether you're in service or whatever. But, you know, for a young police officer such as yourself, do you agree with these sentiments that, well, you know, you're human beings? And by the way, let's just clarify, it's when you're on duty, yes? When you're off duty?
Yeah, when you are going to church, you can put on your makeup.
Yes, I mean, you can do that. But this is now when you're on official duty, you're in official uniform, and like Cecily said, you are a member, I mean, you are a representative of the government. For a young police officer such as yourself, what do you think of these rules and people saying, well, we will never get married at this rate?
Let me first say that I'm married to a civilian.
Okay.
Who is not afraid of the fact that I'm a police officer.
I like that.
And well, as Madam Florence said, if you're beautiful, you're beautiful.
Yeah.
Having makeup or not having makeup does not describe who you are. Actually, for a man, it would be very unwise to judge a woman by the makeup they're wearing.
Some wise words from a police officer this morning. Yes.
I would say there's another, when you join the police service, whether you're a woman, you're a man, you join above the age of 18, you're perceived an adult.
Yes.
And it's a decision that you make on your own. Nobody forces you. And even if your parents will tell you this is the right career to follow, it was your decision. And even in their trainings, they'll give you an allowance time to, if you want to leave now. And that you stayed, that you got to the end,
and regulations,
and that you took the oath to serve. And our service is 24 hours. I am on duty while I'm sleeping, while I'm breastfeeding, while I'm being a wife to my husband. I'm on duty. He is aware that even when I'm having dinner with him at an expensive hotel, a call may come anytime for me to serve, and I will have to leave him there. And it's important for us.
It's all about service, and I think that's the rallying call here. The best service is the best look you can actually have on your face. In our closing comments, let's start with you, Cecily. First of all, I'm seeing a Twitter handle. Are you on Twitter?
Yes.
Yes, you are. So that's okay. We'll be giving you that Twitter handle, and you can interact with Cecily as much as possible. And that just shows you we're all going digital. But let's just have our closing remarks on this association. For the time in office, what do you hope you have achieved?
We are barely a month old, having been elected in office on 25th July 2013. And within that 1 month, we have done a lot. Like now we are preparing for the international conference in South Africa coming up next month. All the 10 officials, I'm glad to say, have been sponsored by UN Women. We are glad that they have really done us proud. Because initially, as I said, they had been sponsoring individuals. Now we are going as Kenya Association of Women Policing as a delegation. Already we have also opened a bank account for our association, and we have also official mobile numbers. We are also saying that we want to affiliate ourselves to the International Association of Women Policing. That's a global organization. And very soon we shall be bringing those very beautiful ladies from other world for our formal launch. We are planning for a launch in November this year, immediately after we leave South Africa. And we will be glad to invite the media, the citizens, so that they know that there is another side of police that they have never known.
Indeed.
We are very much closed up, but we are saying in this new dispensation, we want to open ourselves. We want, when you have a problem, maybe you have contacts of a police officer whom you can call within a short notice, and that you are helped. And because our service, as Lucy has said, is 24-hour service. There is nothing private about my number. I'm just a police officer. And I retain that number. I do not have any other number.
Toss out SIM cards.
Because I cannot, because even my husband knows. I'm also, like Lucy, I'm married to a civilian. And he knows that, like today I left him sleeping, and he knew I was on duty. So the members of public, one thing that I really urge them is that to see us as human, because normally we say security starts with you. When you are living in your house, for example, I'll not come and tell you, please lock your house. It is just that you know that you have valuables, you lock it. So just the same way you lock your house, also help us. You know, the population of the police officers, the normal population is, the percentages are not that very good. So there's some obligation that the members of the public are supposed to do so that the police work becomes easier. We cannot have 24-hour surveillance by the police because of our numbers. Our economy is still, we are still a growing country. We may not have, like now, the training is taking 15 months. If it is taking 15 months, our training institution maybe can only handle 7,000. 7,000 for 15 months. It takes a toll on the government, and the numbers may not be coming as quickly as we want. So what I am saying to members of public is that please access us. Please call us. When you see us on the street, just say hi. And that is how now you learn how to even talk to us, even when we are in uniform. Because when I was small, I used to say that the only person I'm comfortable talking to is a police officer. But the notion has changed. I don't know what went wrong. The notion has changed, and we are even seeing now police officers are becoming targets of crime. I think that in the past it will not happen. So I'm just calling on members of public to know that this association has been formed, first of all, to look into the welfare of the women in the service, and also the welfare of members of the the public.
Yes.
We'll be having community-based programs targeting members of the public. Of essence is like we want to support the fistula victims at Kenyatta National Hospital. Very soon we are going to do something about that as an association, because we want to be accepted by people. We don't just want to look at ourselves. We are an association which is in the wider region of Kenya, a country called Kenya.
So it's not just about
it is not just about us. It is just about every other person in this country, including our children. We know we have a lot of challenges, and the association can actually change the image of the police, the way the members of public see us, because for a very long time there have been a lot of gray areas. People don't know what police do. People don't know when we go to our barracks and our hostel what we do. People start saying, you see that police station, people cannot access. A lot of myth by the way. It is not the truth.
Right.
There is a lot of myth going around, but like when I was doing that course in the Kenya Police College about gender-based violence, and it was being sponsored by US Embassy. I remember one lady called Dr. Nancy Kabelas. We did a presentation at the former PRIC, Police Reform Implementation Committee.
Yes.
And she was told, I don't know who told her, that in Kenya Police College and APTC, the training schools, we use mother tongue and Kiswahili. So when she came to the college and found us on the ground, she said it when we were doing our presentation. And we told her, you know, we don't want to brag or anything. Let us take you to the class. And she found a chief inspector of police teaching disaster management in English, and she stayed there for 10 minutes and was like, what? These police officers are speaking very good language, English. And then we told them, you know, to the members of public, they even thought we do not have classrooms. And we told them, we have classrooms because how will you know all these laws that are passed by parliament? We are supposed to enforce each and every law that comes about. You cannot enforce a law until you have been taught. So
the law,
they were astonished to see that we have classrooms, and we told them,
we speak English.
Oh, we speak English. We told them, in fact, there is no single day I've heard Kiswahili being the language at the colleges. We do not even know now mother tongue. You know, police is a representation of the whole country. It is only in the police where you are going to get all the 42 tribes represented.
Is done everywhere.
So which mother tongue now will you use for Luo, Kikuyu, Kisi? It becomes very difficult. So the language at the colleges is pure English. All right. Changing the face of the service. We've run out of time, though I'm sure we would really like to discuss a lot more. But you are on Twitter. I can see you've just joined, but definitely we will help with that procedure. Thank you very much.
It's at KAWP Chair, and I'll be giving you that Twitter handle once again. And we also have other police officers on Twitter. Priska Mulinge, I believe, is one as well, and so vibrant this morning. And I thank you so much, ladies, for joining us. And I can now comfortably say, at least I have all your numbers. I now know somebody I can call. But it's really good to see this face of the police service. I know we demonize you a lot, but it's also important to have this. And we wish you all the best in your association up until your term. And we will have you again, you know, in future, a year from now, and see how it's going and, you know, how that is all proceeding. But thank you all. We've been speaking with members of the Kenya Association of Women in Policing, and we've been talking about their association and what it hopes to do for the people in the police service, but also, as I keep saying, that interaction between the police and members of the public. And I like what they said, that the best look that they can give is the look of service. So this is not about lipstick or earrings or looking attractive. It really boils down to the service, and they've been very clear on that. I don't know if I just have a few minutes before we take a break. I want to just go through some of that information and some of your feedback. Now, Ken, you're being naughty, but you're knocked off by whose good looks? Let me inform you, all these ladies here are married, happily so. Here's the thing, Philip Ogola is asking, ask when they will intend to leverage on social media for service delivery. They already have a Twitter handle. It's at KAWP Chair, and you can get in touch with them on that. Anthony Bishop, you say police reforms have come a long way, and we can all see its fruits, from a force to a service. That's not a joke indeed, and that just talks about about that. Philip Ogola, again, you say great insights on Kenyan women in the police service right here on the show. And Priska Mulinge, we thank you very much. Philip Atale watching, you say very eloquent women officers there on KTN Kenya. They're all educated, degrees, masters, and these are ladies who are going their way up. So perhaps it might change your perception a little bit about ladies in the service. There's definitely a lot more that they've got to offer, not just ladies, but all police officers within the service. That's our discussion for now. We take a short break. We will be right back. Thank you.